Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Triangles Meditation Group. Today is April 18th, 2022. And as we do each week, let's begin with a brief moment of silence to connect with all Triangles members throughout the world, followed by a sounding of the noontime recollection. We know, O Lord of life and love, about the need. Touch our hearts anew with love, that we too may love and give. And as the name of that mantra suggests, it's used each day by many people throughout the world at 12 noon, no matter in what time zone you may find yourself, as a way of bringing love and light and giving into the world. So if you would ever like to receive card copies of that for your daily use, please just place your name in the chat box and we'll be happy to send them to you. So our work each week, as most of you know, is to introduce the work of triangles to people who are new to it and to aid them in the forming of triangles, and also to create a platform for those of us who are already members of triangles to come together each week and participate in a meditative visualization in the support and strengthening of the planetary network. Triangles is a brief visualization technique that can be used each day in order to uplift and transform planetary consciousness. This is an artist's depiction of a fragment of that work, an understanding of that work. We work with the power of thought to reconfigure the planetary etheric network, the planetary grid, which we're told now is largely composed of a network of squares, because we are a non-sacred planet, and the non-sacred planets are more personality oriented, and so we're trying to do what we can with all other triangles workers to reconfigure that network of squares and make it into a network of triangles, which is representative of the soul. So as we build this triangular network, soul energy, light and goodwill can permeate the consciousness of all the people who can respond to it and thereby help to solve world problems. So it's a rather brief and powerful technique that you can use each day, particularly if you're asking yourself, what can I do to help transform planetary consciousness? Triangles is a superlative response to that question. So 3 people link each day as a triangle of light, mentally, spiritually, and in a spirit of goodwill to all humanity. And then their triangle is placed within the larger framework of the planetary grid of triangles. And then the great invocation, a world prayer, is sounded, which acts as a vehicle for the distribution of this light and goodwill to all minds and hearts who can respond to spiritual energy when it's released into the atmosphere. So this work need only take a few minutes each day, and it can therefore be fit into even the busiest of schedules. So if you'd like more information about this work, you can go to our website, triangles.org, and find out much more about it. So we encourage you to do that. And then today, after our meditation, we're very happy and really honored to have one of our longtime co-workers from the Arcane School and someone who's done so much, both subjectively and objectively, to support the work of the service activities of the Arcane School. And his name is Phan Ngo Trai, and he was born in Binh Dinh, Vietnam. And as I said, he's a longtime student of the teachings and a longtime Triangles workers. In his earlier days, he studied science and mathematics and has worked for many years disseminating spiritual teachings. And as to his future plans, he hopes to continue making a small contribution to campaigning for brotherly love among all peoples and world citizenship. He's worked sacrificially for so many years, and part of that time he's established a unit of service in his town in Vietnam. He's worked with young students. He's encouraged people to form triangles. He's traveled throughout his country, spreading goodwill. And so we really look forward to hearing from him. So now, as we always do, let's begin with a brief visualization. Let's visualize the planet as a sphere of lighted energy. And within that sphere, visualize a triangle, the planetary triangle of the three primary planetary centers. The planetary head center, Shambhala, the planetary heart center, the spiritual hierarchy, and the planetary throat center, the human kingdom. And visualize the energies moving from point to point in all directions around the triangle, filling it with light. Now, superimposed upon that triangle, visualize a 5-pointed star, the star of the world teacher, linking east and west, past and future, radiating the energy of love wisdom. At each point of the star, the sphere of his activity, stands an outpost of his consciousness, the 5 planetary centers. Visualize the energies radiating forth from the center of the star through the 5 points. London, Darjeeling, New York, Geneva, Tokyo, visualize these outpouring energies, enlivening small groups gathering everywhere, aiding them to focus and direct the energies into the consciousness of all humanity, solving its problems, creating right human relations, restoring peace on earth. Now visualize a rainbow bridge towards the spiritual hierarchy of the planet as we sound together the invocation of light. Radiance we are and power. We stand forever with our hands stretched out, linking the heavens and the earth, the inner world of meaning and the subtle world of glamour. We reach into the light and bring it down to meet the need. We reach into the silent place and bring from thence the gift of understanding. Thus with the light we work and turn the darkness into day. So we have a nice opportunity today, and over this past weekend, we have also had that opportunity to work with the first of the three spiritual festivals, the festivals of Aries, Taurus, and Gemini, a great triangle within the spiritual year, a time of full moon in the annual cycle. Therefore, a time when we can reach into the light and hold our consciousness attuned to the higher energies that are pouring in. So it's on one hand, it's a very subjective time. It's an opportunity to, as a group, provide a channel for the hierarchy to distribute its energies and thereby we can play our part in helping to have humanity solve some of its problems that it is confronted with. And so we know from the teachings that this great triangle in the spiritual year corresponds not only to an influx from the energies of the constellation and sign under consideration, but also to overshadowing forces of which we're not told much. But these are forces that are obviously extraplanetary and probably extra systemic, coming from outside our solar system. And these forces, one of them is released at each of the festivals. And as we've noted in past webinars, the forces that are released during this Aries festival are the forces of restoration. And so we know that these forces are at their peak during the full moon, but we can assume that they've been working prior to this time and will continue to be working as we move towards the next festival. And we're told a little bit more about these forces of restoration than we are of the other two, the forces of enlightenment at Wesak and the forces of reconstruction at the Gemini full moon. And the Tibetan gives us the emanating point for each of these forces. And so for these forces of restoration, he says that they work through, they're an extraplanetary energy. They are powerfully related to the spirit of resurrection. Obviously, this energy works, we're told, through this great being, which is extraplanetary. We don't know much about this being, but we do know that he is intimately related to the Aries energy, bringing resurrection life. So very much related to the Easter festival, which is what the Aries festival is known as, the Easter festival, the festival of the resurrection life. And they stand therefore opposed or contrary to the spirit of death, which is so rampant in human consciousness, so much fear, wrapped around that idea of death. And the Tibetan states that actually the fear of death, the spirit of death, is related to selfishness, and obviously the spirit of resurrection, the resurrection life is contrary to that selfishness. So probably very much related to sharing, to giving. And there's an interesting correlation which he states related to this spirit of resurrection, that not only is it extraplanetary coming from outside our planetary system, but it finds its representative within the highest center of our planet, within the center Shambhala. And so it's like one of the Kumaras, or one of the great lives. And I was just thinking before the webinar that it could be related very much to the Christ himself, because although he is standing at the center of the spiritual hierarchy, the planetary heart, we know that he and the Buddha are also find their place within the highest center. And so it could be that the Christ himself is therefore providing that role as a representative in Shambhala during this Aries festival, because we know that through this festival, the greatest inpouring of the first ray energy occurs. So as this energy pours down, we're also told that it is stepped down into what the Tibetan calls the sun of righteousness. And of course, this is very much related to the Christ himself. So standing as the sun of righteousness within the center of the spiritual hierarchy, this energy is released, as the ancient prophecy says, with healing in its wings, and bringing healing to the nations. And what better energy could we hope for in our world today but a healing of the wings of the Christ into the nations of the world. And then I would like to just read something related to this sun of righteousness, this representative. Whether or not this refers to the Christ himself or another member of hierarchy, we don't really know. But it's related to Russia. And since Russia is so much in our thoughts today, I thought that it might be helpful for us to look at that great nation from a higher spiritual perspective, and what's going on there might be revealed to us more fully as we ponder the higher aspects, the soul aspect of Russia. The Tibetan describes it as a very interesting, challenging country right now because of its ray structure. On the soul level, it's related to the incoming ray, the seventh ray, the ray of magic and mystery, the ray that's very Aquarian in nature. And also Russia is ruled at the soul level by Aquarius. So it's a beautiful alignment between the new age, Aquarius, and the seventh ray in the soul aspect of Russia. But at the personality level, it's governed by the sixth ray. So in and of itself, in that nation, there is the planetary battle going on between the Piscean age and the Aquarian age. And interestingly enough, its spiritual model is I link two ways. So many of us will understand that as linking east and west, and the Tibetan does indicate that, but we also might say linking Pisces, the sixth ray age, with Aquarius, the seventh ray age. And how wonderful that would be if we had a nation in the world that could help in that linking, in that blending between the two ages. So I just wanted to read a passage about this spiritual destiny of Russia. Behind the closed borders, this is from Destiny of the Nations on page 61. Behind the closed borders of that mysterious and magnificent country, a great and spiritual conflict is proceeding, and the rare mystical spirit and the truly religious orientation of the people is the eternal guarantee that a true and living religion and culture will finally emerge. Out of Russia, a symbol of the world Arjuna, in a very special sense, will emerge, that new and magical religion about which I have so often told you. It will be the product of the great and imminent approach which will take place between humanity and the hierarchy. From these two centers of spiritual force, in which the light which ever shineth in and from the east will irradiate the west, the whole world will be flooded with the radiance of the Sun of Righteousness, seeming to indicate the Christ. I am not here referring in connection with Russia to the imposition of any political ideology, but to the appearance of a great and spiritual religion, which will justify the crucifixion of a great nation, and which will demonstrate itself and be focused in a great and spiritual light, which will be held aloft by a vital Russian exponent of true religion, that man for whom many Russians have been looking, and who will be the justification of a most ancient prophecy. So there is an ancient prophecy related to Russia that is found in the Old Testament, and some biblical scholars do interpret it to mean that the coming Son of Righteousness will come out of Russia, and some even say out of Western Russia, particularly, including Ukraine. So it could have resonance to what's happening today in that part of the world as part of the crucifixion of that great nation. And curiously enough, Edgar Cayce, who some of you might know, the sleeping prophet who gave forth many prophecies, prophesied that the coming Messiah would emerge out of Russia. It's just interesting to consider. We certainly can't make any definitive statements. And just to conclude that this alignment that we've spoken about between Jupiter and Neptune in the sign of Pisces is the preeminent signature of the Christ energy accompanying this period and extending for the next 3 weeks or so. So we can all do what we can to hold in our hearts this Christ energy and bring it to bear on the challenges in our world. So let's now work with our meditation, integrating as a group, focusing ourselves as a group upon the mental plane within the center of the evened arm cross, linking in thought as a soul, a point of love and light, with all those people throughout the world who are working with this Triangles meditation group. Project a beam of lighted energy towards the highest center and sound together the affirmation of will. In the center of the will of God, I stand. Naught shall deflect my will from His. I implement that will by love. I turn towards the field of service. I, the triangle divine, work out that will within the square and serve my fellow men. Visualization. Using the creative imagination, link with 2 other points of light to create a triangle of light. Visualize the triangle in which you are working as an essential part of the radiant worldwide triangles network. Now lift your consciousness to the world teacher, who stands as the heart of love at the center of the spiritual hierarchy, and also at the heart of each triangle. Visualize the energies of love, light, and goodwill circulating in and around the triangles network. Visualize these energies unifying and eliminating all divisions within humanity, healing and transforming human consciousness, and establishing right human relationships. Project a rainbow bridge towards the spiritual hierarchy and sound together the mantra of unification. The sons of men are one, and I am one with them. I seek to love, not hate. I seek to serve, and not exact due service. I seek to heal, not hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form and life and all events, and bring to light the love that underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate and outer cleavages be gone. Let love prevail. Let all people love. Visualize the whole planet alight with triangles and see new triangles being formed everywhere. Sound the great invocation, silently or aloud. And as you repeat each stanza, let's visualize the network acting as a link between the world of spiritual realities and humanity, and as a channel through which light, love, and divine purpose may flow into human consciousness. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into human minds. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into human hearts. May the coming one return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide all little human wills, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. And so Michael has just uploaded Van Trai's talk, and we recommend that you read along with Ngo Trai in order to help bring clarity to the words, because the sound is a little bit challenging and he's speaking in another language. So we hope you can do that. And we welcome a few other Vietnamese people to our circle here today, even though they're speaking to us and participating with us in the middle of the night. And so we really appreciate that. Ngo Trai, hello, how are you? Can you hear me? Hello, welcome. Hello.
Thank you. Hello, coworker. I am Ngọc Trai Phan from Vietnam. It's very nice of you to give me the chance of speaking at this triangle webinar. But please do sympathize with me and excuse me for my poor listening skill and my poor pronunciation. So thank you in advance.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now I try to present something about the triangle surface and the promotion of right human relations in Vietnam. To my knowledge, triangle materials and IAB books were introduced into Vietnam before 1975, while Mr. Ngô Thanh Hà, an Arkansas student and a late friend of mine. After that, due to the social events, the book almost fell into oblivion until the 1980s, when I received them from him by chance. In my first reading of the triangle papers, especially the triangle folder, I thought it should be used as a mode of symbol surface. First, this translation will be made and circulated among my circle of friends, and later the English version and paper will be used by certain new AS students. As a result, several triangle units were formed and eagerly participated in. However, over time, due to death and other reasons, a number of them ceased working. Only a few have continued up to present. However, we already had some experiences in forming triangle with foreign and domestic co-workers. At the same time, certain AAB books were translated into Vietnamese, and in 2008, they began being published in Vietnam under contracts signed with Lucy Trust in Geneva and permits issued by local authorities. Thanks to the said Vietnamese version's circulation, number of readers gradually increased. And during the recent years, the triangle surface has received a new impetus. This surface and other spiritual surfaces, such as full moon and new moon meditations, Sunday meditation on money, Thursday meditation on preparations for the reappearance of the Christ, 5 o'clock blinking were presented to many youth. Since then, several triangle units have been formed and work regularly in a free and spontaneous manner. At the same time, the use of the red invocation as an act of will service is Reader's Digest, December 1991, reprint and Vietnamese version, and the introduction to the above translation were included in a bilingual small book for the public. The book typically presents the theme of rebirth, karma, of evolution, and the purpose of life, as well as a basic meditation for each individual to know himself and to live a useful and happy life. In the end, there is mention to how to render simple, kind, and effective use of it using the right invocation and the power of thought. Later, during 2017 and 2018, I made a tour to all the provinces and important cities in my country to campaign for protecting the environment in its true aspect, to refine the feelings and thoughts in each person's heart and mind, and enhancing their full respect for nature and awareness of environmental pollution prevention through the right sorting and processing of waste materials. On my way, the above book were presented to anyone interested whom I met along the way, emphasizing the simple techniques of right thoughts leading to good feeling and then to right speech and right actions. Following this simple formula will result in right attitude to each other, which is an important factor in building right human relations. On tour, I consciously rooted the magnetic linking in daily meditation with its locality during my stay. I also had the chance of taking cable car to Mount Fansipan, the highest peak of Indochina, where whereon I meditated for a while, waiting for regional peace, cooperation, solidarity, and spiritual development. I remember meeting several types of people, many spiritual aspirants, and to this day, I continue to feel most thankful for their true understanding and kind support. Particularly, I happen to have a chance of cheerfully dealing with many junior high school students while I was making my presentation and meditation in a small park near their school. It was so joyful when listening to their lovely stories and answering their curious and at times funny questions. I also happily explained to them the easy work they could do daily to improve their studies, their dealing with the environment as ways of making themselves anew as they move forward toward a brighter future. In another, in another city, I unexpectedly fell into the den of a gang of the so-called Black Society. At first, I was worried and even frightened, but when knowing the purpose of my tour and my daily presentation, the gang leader showed, showed kindness and helped me feel quite at home and even protected my belongings from being stolen by his subordinates during my stay. Third, after my daily presentation in the city park near the museum, I worked at his home with my laptop while listening to their chatting with each other, including some miserable, miserable stories. I gradually came to understand some of the reasons why they chose to live that way. At the end of my stay, I bade farewell to them with best wishes, improved friendship, and brotherly love. As I said in her unfinished autobiography, I completely believe in the good, the truth, and the beauty in human hearts, regardless of their appearance and expression, which are the main factors of salvation for each and all. Now we have a circle of youthful people interested and regularly taking part in the above-mentioned services, the study of spiritual teaching in several units of service. One point of life in Saigon has been registered, and hopefully another point will soon be registered in Hanoi, as well as several more points in other main cities to form a domestic network of even energy distribution in connection to the worldwide network of love and light. This may be regarded as a stable development, steadily but slowly growing in the time to come. Thank you. for
Thank you.
answer.
Thank you very much, Ngotrai. This is a spontaneous question, but I wondered if you would be able to say the great invocation in Vietnamese for the group. Is that possible? To say the great invocation in Viet?
Yeah. The Vietnamese version was translated for for the general public and for those workers who can't read it in English. So in Vietnam, we use of most version um, and so one view is in English to synchronize with the worldwide worker. So now I try to read the Vietnamese versions of the Unification.
Thank you.
Từ nguồn ánh sáng trong trí thượng đế, cầu mong cầu xin ánh sáng tuôn rải vào trí con người, cầu xin ánh sáng chiếu xuống trần gian. Từ nguồn yêu thương trong tâm thượng đế, cầu xin tình thương tuôn rải vào tâm con người, cầu mong đức trưởng giáo trở lại trần gian. Từ trung tâm biết được ý chí của thượng đế, cầu mong thiên ý hướng dẫn ý chí nhỏ bé của con người, mục đích mà các chân sư đều biết và phụng sự. Từ trung tâm chúng ta gọi là nhân loại, cầu mong thiên cơ tình thương và ánh sáng thực thi, và cầu mong thiên cơ đóng kín cửa vào nẻo ác, cầu xin ánh sáng và tình thương và quyền năng phục hồi thiên cơ trên trần gian.
Thank you so much. That was so beautiful to hear on this day of distribution, playing our part in uniting East and West. Thank you so much. Would you, any of the participants here, like to share a comment, either audibly or in the chat? You've received many thank yous in the chat box, but if anyone would like to raise their hand and express anything, that would be great. There's a Vietnamese sharing in the chat box. Someone's Duncan says, "Thank you very much, Ngo Trai, for right thoughts leading to good feelings, and then to right speech and right actions." And I will send you all of these appreciations. Kathleen writes, "Thank you, Ngo Trai, for your service and sharing it with us. heart coherence is greatly affected by our environment. Love your awareness of this.
And thank you for your kind attention. And I hope this is the first time I meet coworkers from other from foreign countries. And I think I will try more to understand all of you better because, as I said, my listening skill is rather poor. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Well, there are so many thank yous, so much gratitude for the work you've carried forward all these years in very difficult circumstances. And we're so happy to have been able to honor you and your group here today. And thank you so very much for being here with us. And so now we've come to our close, and we'd just like to work together to visualize the planet as a sphere surrounded by a network of triangles. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you next time.